Welcome to the 360 Degrees SCD Hub live broadcast show and interactive community chat. This show is designed to do three things. 1. Empower those living with sickle cell disease. 2. Educate the medical community to improve overall care. And 3. Encourage the general public to learn more and how to support this community affected by this disease by downloading our app and joining our community platforms. Whether you are living with sickle cell disease, part of the medical community, or the general public, our goal is to connect and unify everybody to improve care for all. This show is co-hosted by the Sickle Cell Foundation of Arizona and the Force for Health Network. Each month will feature special guests from our partner organizations and will include an interactive way for participants and viewers to interact with us. We encourage you lend your comments on our live streams and to download our free 360-degree SCD Hub app through the QR links below or by visiting our website at 360scdhub.org and join today. Together, we can make a difference for the entire SCD community. Now, let's meet today's co-hosts from the Sickle Cell Foundation and the Force for Health Network.
Alrighty, so welcome everybody. We are so excited to be here. My name is Lucy Howell. I'm with the Force for Health Network. I'm joined with my partner, Dr. Robert Gilio at a state college, and we are here with one of our favorite cool strategic partners, the Sickle Cell Foundation. And we're so excited to launch some new initiatives that's really being led by this new app that you're going live with. So I'm introducing Moses Akpan, who is the founder, president, project director, etc. of the Sickle Cell Foundation of Arizona. Welcome, Moses.
Hello, glad to be here.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, so this is a new monthly insights show that is really designed to support the launch of a new app that we've been working on for the last 8 months. It's a project that was funded by HRSA, and it was really designed, as you saw in the intro video there, to unify and to connect all the players in the SCD community, those living with sickle cell, the medical community, and the general public, so that we can all improve our health literacy levels around that, improve overall quality of care, and be more empathetic for everybody. That's kind of my opening statement there. I pass it to you, Rob, for your opening statements here as we dive into this next hour of experts, insights, and inspiration. And then I want to talk to Moses a little bit. But before we go there, let's just a couple quick housekeeping. We are live. This is designed to be an interactive community chat. So this is our first one. We'll see if we get any guests in here, but it's currently being streamed live to YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And it's under the Force for Health Network right now. We'll be joining in, and I'm going to get a link over to your Sickle Cell Foundation Facebook page. So hopefully we can pull in a lot of your followers here on that. But feel free to comment. If you are watching on a platform, we will be interacting with some of the comments as we go. But I hand it back to you, Rob.
Well, that's fine. I'm Dr. Rob Gilio. My background is pulmonary and critical care medicine, but also population health issues. And I've lived my whole life with carrying a trait for a different hematologic disorder, beta thalassemia. So when the opportunity came around to see what I could do to help with the sickle cell program, I jumped at it, in part because of my ignorance and the ignorance of many, many, many doctors that take care of people with sickle cell disease. Some people don't see it often enough to be thinking about what it is. The key for me is to bring together a hub of folks who are taking a 360-degree approach around that patient, and as well as having the patient with sickle cell disease, SCD, in the center of that hub, being able to look any which way in a community to get support. So the 360 Sickle Cell Hub We've worked with subject matter experts, primarily from CDC, NIH, Banner Health, and others to try the state of Arizona, Red Cross Arizona, to try and really put together a evidence-based validated tool for the patient to use, someone in the family to use, if someone in the family has sickle cell disease, if you're a caregiver, or if you're just the general public, living with, working with, employing, or having neighbors of someone affected by sickle cell disease. It's been a privilege to work shoulder to shoulder with the team at the Sickle Cell Foundation of Arizona. Very dedicated group, very knowledgeable, motivated, very passionate.
And so, Moses, let's just start from ground zero. Tell us your story. Why are you so passionate about this space?
It's wonderful to be here, and haven't really done live interviews before. There wasn't really any need for it. So it's wonderful to work with the Force for Health, with Lucy and Dr. Giglio. I try to be very private. I'm passionate about the Sickle Cell Foundation and its effort and its efforts, because I had a son who lost his life from sickle cell complications. And so that gave me the motivation, the encouragement to launch this effort. It's been said, don't go where the path leads, go where there are no paths and leave a trail. So the Sickle Cell Foundation is a dedicated effort of the board of directors, of the hospitals, multi-entities and individuals who come together to make this dream possible.
And I know sometimes I have to pull some information out of you and want you to be almost a little bit more public, because it is such an important story. So I want to be sensitive to how you want to, put it out there. But tell us how old is the Sickle Cell Foundation? When did you find it? When was it founded?
The Sickle Cell Foundation was founded in 2012.
2000.
With a team of founding pillars.
Mm-hmm.
And what was it that made you want to do this? I mean, this is a pretty significant project and a pretty significant goal when we talk about unifying and connecting the ecosystem. There's a lot of sickle cell apps out there, and they're all incredible. Like there's a ton of great resources out there, but I think one of the things that you've helped us develop together on behalf of the Sickle Cell Foundation is this hub, this whole concept of, the hub. And it's where we can connect the medical community. We were talking to some partners earlier about how we really want to get into the school nurses. And we want to make sure the community health workers and ER doctors are just as knowledgeable about a pain crisis presenting, right? So that there is just an improved overall quality of care. So was there something that was just bugging you to say, like, I got to do something bigger and better? I mean, what's kind of like the foundation and the genesis of you wanting to do exactly what we're trying to do? Yeah. We're going to bring up some graphics a little bit later. And as you're speaking, maybe I can bring some up right now and you can kind of speak to it. But I'm just trying to get the story behind, the project, and then we can kind of go into some of the overview of the actual platform itself.
Well, I believe that we'll have more opportunities to dive into different areas, but the name speaks for itself. We toy around what the name should be, and finally it came to me. The 360 represents the totality, the whole person, the wholesomeness of the effort. And the hub represents the information center that the Sickle Cell Foundation of Arizona represents. It represents all the resources, all the state support, all the hospitals, all the different areas that we hope that the sickle cell community and more can come to this app, this platform, and be fed with information that would enrich their lives. I often said to people, you have to love the disease. You have to love yourself. Because if you don't, then you are not going to take care of yourself. The stigma associated with the sickle cell have kept it in the closet for the longest of times. Some states have a lot more visibility. Some individuals don't want to talk about sickle cell because of the stigma. So the platform encourages, it motivates, it brings the community together, both the clinical community, the sickle cell community, and the well-wishers. So we all can learn together and move forward together.
In many ways, it represents a social community, much like people might use a Facebook or something, where there's very private areas. I wish with the challenges I've had at times that I could have a community of other people like me that I could talk to. Or as a parent, I dealt with issues that weren't sickle cell, but boy, did I feel isolated and wished I could have a group of parents. So the groups within this, be it from the general community or be it from a physician community where they can chat about how to better help folks, or as a patient themselves. So the piece about community, I think, can help destigmatize it and really empower someone to not be embarrassed by it, but actually be empowered by the knowledge they gain of understanding their own disease, the individual understanding it, be it the anatomy of it, the physiology of it, from the red cell changing shape. With the low oxygen, that hemoglobin molecule polymerizing, instead of being all bunched together, lengthens out. And then one connects to another and distorts the cell, much like taking a bunch of Legos and putting them straight and distorting a balloon if it was in a balloon. I love the ability that we have to illustrate those things within the portal on a very basic level, but also on a level that's appropriate for a physician continuing medical education. It was a real challenge to try and build out our content at multiple levels for learning.
I think
Yes,
that
indeed.
I was just going to say, I think that, Rob, you hit it on the head when you said empower. I mean, at the core of what we heard Moses wanted to do and lead with on this project was to empower the patient, empower them with as much resource, support, and information and access as possible. That was like the first thing, right? And then we wanted to educate. We wanted to educate the medical community. And the medical community is anywhere from, the part-time community health worker in the field all the way up to physicians and everybody in between, school nurse, everybody. And the third thing, we really wanted to then encourage the general public to learn more, because part of what we were really focused around earlier, Moses, at your direction, was this whole stigma that sometimes sickle cell disease patients have to live with. And maybe if more of the general public understood the issues that were associated with sickle cell, then it could be released a little bit of that, friends could, better understand if they know that their friends have sickle cell. So I'm just bringing up some of the, these graphics that kind of really hit home what we've just said, to create a community that challenges you to understand what role you play, because you're going to play one of these three roles. And then really, how can we help facilitate the connection of those?
One of the issues is social determinants of health also, where there's barriers to care. And with this app, one of the things we're trying to overcome is to give people the tools within the hub to find the resources that are available to them, but also to be able to even track when those barriers are affecting them. But a key point I want to bring up in terms of barriers, how much are you charging for this, Moses?
This app is free, and this app is multifaceted. It's multidimensional. And I appreciate you mentioning, and you and Lucy, about empowerment. It's been said, give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. But teach him how to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. That's the spirit of empowerment. The goal, the mission, the vision was to empower the sickle cell person, the community, the partnership, to allow that individual, that person, that family, to give them that energy to stand up and talk about the disease without shame. Sickle cell disease is not contagious. By the time they feel the pain that shows up, the damage may have already been done. So the goal is to allow that person to be more knowledgeable about the disease, because the more they know, the better they understand.
I'm going to jump in at that point. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I'm playing a different role here. I'm playing the role of the doctor that grew up in a white community, that practiced primarily in rural Pennsylvania and Minnesota, where my exposure to sickle cell disease, I think, was 2 patients in my whole lifetime. I'm afraid I would not be knowledgeable enough to recognize crisis, especially if it was a child or whatever else, that I'm not thinking of certain things. So the point is, all you're talking about with empowerment and stigma, as a doctor, you feel insecurities, folks. And it's like, oh my gosh, I hope I don't miss anything. I want to have the confidence to be empowered that when I see a patient, I know what to look for sickle cell as a part of my differential diagnosis. And I know what to do about it. That's part of what we're trying to do with this app. So as you're empowering and thinking about that child, that teenager, let's say, and the mom and dad, someone else thinking about the school teacher, how do we empower them to recognize that kid in class maybe is having a stroke or is having problems with a crisis affecting their brain, or the school nurse to recognize it, and me at the ER or at the ICU to be empowered to know what to do with it on the receiving end, and not at least think of it in my differential. So that's what's fun about it, is we have the ability to really bring in continuing education with the School Nurse Association of Arizona, for instance, is a group we've brought in, had a call with a week ago in a pre-introductory phase. We're building a handbook with them, for them, in conjunction with the doctors at Banner Health, with them and for them, to empower them at the level of helping the school be a place where the teachers and the school nurse are empowered, where there's order sets, where there's policies, where there's 504 plans or individual health plans in place to help the school nurse do a better job with their insecurity, just as I was talking about mine. In some of the communities in Arizona, for instance, where the African-American community is not as prevalent, nor then is the disease. Should mention that the disease doesn't just affect African-Americans. It affects people of all color, but primarily African-Americans or those with more melanin pigment in their skin. Something to learn. So these foundation partners have been stepping up to the plate in the early stages of Moses. And it was my privilege to be introduced to them by you with screening, the early screening for a mom and a dad with that newborn, with the Arizona Department of Health Services, helping with that. Phoenix Children's Hospital, when someone is screened. Banner Health, as the child is maturing into adulthood. American Red Cross dealing with, is there blood? And now even, is there bone marrow that can be donated for sickle cell crisis treatment, or even maybe disease cure? So a lot going on out there. So at Force for Health, we were thrilled to be involved with those partners you brought to the table to empower.
We are very fortunate in Arizona, truly fortunate and blessed, because we have had the opportunity to work with Banner, Diamond in Tucson, Phoenix Children's Hospital, Arizona Department of Health Services, Banner UMC in Phoenix, the Red Cross, as you mentioned, many entities, many CDOs have come together. So it's not, in fact, we work with Candelida's Childhood Cancer Foundation of Southern Arizona. That's really how we first started. We worked with the cancer organization, which was very passionate about supporting sickle cell when we really didn't have very much in the beginning. So we are fortunate that we have the infrastructure. We just need to take advantage of all the opportunities that this infrastructure, that these partnerships provide to expose our community to those resources. We are excited to work with the doctors, the social worker, the nurses, the educationists. I can name them all. So that is a big opportunity. And the app you talk about long term.
Yeah.
So
I
the app presents itself to the community. You can take it in part, you can take any piece of the app, and it will still satisfy any one of the needs that exist in the community, whether that's on a clinical side, whether that is on a social side, whether that is on individual side, whether that is in the community side, whether that is in the family side. The app presents itself as the hub at 360 degrees of freedom. So there could be no excuses. So our challenge is to expose these resources to our community at large.
and I'm going to challenge our team, right? The app itself, was funded by HRSA, right? The grant. So the brand of 360 SCD Hub, of which we speak of, is owned, operated, trademarked by the Sickle Cell Foundation, right?
Yes.
And so when you look at an app, I think of 360 as 360 media, so that you can take a simple message and you can deliver it in many different platforms and ways. We're doing that right now with the video. This is on YouTube. You could literally sit on your couch, and as we get into the next components, bring in experts and inspiration. We're going a little bit longer on the activation and the welcome and overview part. And part of me is waiting for Dr. Newman to possibly join as we can transition to our next guest here. But this is also fully supported by a website. So if you just want to be on a large screen, like me, I'm an old person, so I don't like to be in a small screen app. Whatever you do on the app is accessible and maintainable on the website as well. I wanted to kind of, as I go through this, let me remove that, and I'm going to share this tab really quickly. What I wanted to do with this is really kind of spend maybe 5-6 minutes, Moses, and review the corporate deck so that people can get a sense on what the components are of the app and kind of the steps that the Sickle Cell Foundation of Arizona took to get us to this point. And then we've got Dr. Newman coming in, and maybe Dr. Osmond, we'll see. Sometimes he's resident on calls and he's physician on calls, have to be called away. But we've got some special guests coming up. But that's what I wanted to do on this next TL, if we can transition.
Well, as you are transitioning to that, the other consideration that we gave as the dream of this app started to manifest itself in my head was the consideration of privacy, the convenience, the accessibility of the individual in their own home, whoever the person may be, that in the comfort of their home, they can access the app and don't feel threat.
Yes.
Exactly. And so whoever they are, they can access the app, use the platform, and get themselves, they can have a point of discussion in the family before we get flyers and people throw them away. This
That's
is
right.
a lasting resource whether you are in school, whether you are at work. And the other aspect is that this app is going to even educate employers. A person with sickle cell can still live a very productive life and contributes to the society. So the more people know about what sickle cell is and what sickle cell is not. There are people walking around who have sickle cell trait and don't even know it. So all of these in the totality, we wouldn't exhaust it today. We'll have more opportunities to talk about the different components of this tool. That will go a long way to meeting some of the needs. It's not a cure for sickle cell, but we can take the information as they come along and make it available to the user. The user may not know to go to CDC or NIH to get information, that this app is a central repository that a person can go to and have access to this information. And in doing that, help to improve the quality of their lives.
And again, I might just go ahead and interject and say, instead of app, you could even just say hub. The app is one way to easily interact with it. I'm just going through, you can see what was also very important to the executive team was their ability to see things and learn from things without signing in, right? So many of these courses are available without being signed in. And I'm just kind of rolling you through a few of these, the categories. Let's just say you were part of the general community. There are 10 reasons to be screened. In fact, one of the cool things about this project is being able to start giving a platform for some of our board members, residents, so this is an example of a video intro that is from Dr. Newman's residence team, because people are hungry and wanting to get involved. And you are the Sickle Cell Foundation of Arizona. And it's just wonderful that we can go ahead and incorporate content contributors in there, right?
A week ago, we met with Dr. Newman's team, and Dr. Osman on her team stepped up, and we want an introduction to this course. She's very interested in the concept of why you should be screened in terms of pregnancy planning and other such things, newborn screening. And so she made this video. We put it in place for her. So that when Moses says we are looking for people to work with, partners, one by one, this app, more and more content can be added. Your best grand rounds talks, or introduction to a course, or how to fill out this form. Those videos, those tools can be put in a role-specific course for that given patient or person.
Yep. So I wanted to just kind of bring that in as a quick example of creating a platform for your board members and everybody to be able to start contributing. Part of the platform back here actually has a virtual library that's associated with it. And in this virtual library, there are some very, there's the CDC. Our whole platform was basically digitizing high quality vetted content, evidence-based, content already. So you'll see some big things back here. I was just going to bring this one up quickly so that we can just maybe go over a couple of quick components. Let's see here, and just walk through a couple of these slides. And if anybody has any questions, this was really meant to be an welcome and activation. So an overview of what's possible and kind of just walking through. And so if you have any quick comments, Moses or Rob, let me know. But I was just going to take 5 minutes and go through some key slides here so that folks can get an idea. We worked, Moses, of course, the fearless leader, and he had 2 volunteer board members that have just been head down with us for the last 8 months, Kevin Johnson and Sarah Speichermeyer. representing Raytheon. He's not representing Raytheon at all, but the quality and the caliber of folks that were around this is pretty spectacular. And then of course, Rob, myself, and we have a liaison who will be assigned and kind of coaching the development and the growth of the app here. Again, you've seen this slide with some significant partners that have all contributed enthusiastically, I might add. We didn't have to pull. They were all very enthusiastic about working, which speaks loads to you, Moses, right? And the relationships you've been able to establish.
That's the reason I said we are very blessed and very fortunate. We have a contract with Arizona Department of Health. I know entities that doesn't have that kind of privilege, and Arizona Department of Health. And when we won the newborn screening grant, we had to have Arizona Department of Health on our side. So that's been amazing. Phoenix Children's Hospital, Banner, as I've said in previously. So, and then the participation of Banner Health. Remember, we started this thing from scratch, ground zero. There was nothing.
That's right.
So it's been a humble, really gratifying and humble experience. I say that this effort is a brainchild of a stubborn effort, dedicated to the success and education of our entire community. So truly, we've been blessed. Everyone who have come into the scene. Kevin is our Chief Technology Officer. Sarah brings all her experience from Banner Network. So I can't say enough about everyone.
I'm gonna
and they're all volunteers.
That's right. And so just for the sake of time, so that we can just kind of tease the folks watching to see some of the components of the app.
And Dr. Newman is just amazing, talking about just in time. And since we announced we activated, I've received 2 important emails. This morning I had a meeting also with another doctor, and I just got some emails. So the opportunity is just, we are going to be very excited with the responses that we are getting.
That's right. So, like I said, this started 8 months ago. We had a vision, we put it together. In the early part of this year, we went ahead and released it out to about just shy of 50, phase 1 review users, so that we could get some feedback. I seen Dr. Newman has joined, so very excited. I'll be bringing her on very shortly. This makes me want to go through this quickly. And most of the respondent, and we had a good diversity of respondents. And so that just led us to show and give us some direction on where we needed to fine tune some things. This is a continuous work in process, and we are always looking for feedback to continuously improve. This is a HIPAA compliant. Yes.
Go ahead. I wanted to give a shout out to my we belong to the Western region, which consists of 13 states, including Hawaii. And we could not have come this far without Mary Brown, and the Western region, the Pacific Sickle Cell Regional Collaborative. They have been very, very supportive. In fact, they held the first ever leadership. They came to Arizona at Banner UMC in Phoenix and held our regional conference. So, and it's been amazing. So it's not just, it's the totality of effort, both regional and local and state-wise.
That's awesome. Looking forward to meeting those partners. Just kind of going through the contractually, what you were looking to do is really, you wanted us to build a patient digital library that could track daily symptoms, mental health crisis, medication digital library, pain crisis, and weather. Of course, it had to be fully HIPAA compliant, and it had to meet certain tech aspects. The second part of it was then in this community builder aspect. So that's where the whole profiles and groups and communities come in, and being able to connect them with resources. So we've got that in the app. Rob mentioned earlier about the ability to track social barriers of health, social determinants, social barriers. If you need access to care and you can't get it, why? And track it so that you can establish a path of help. Of course, educational courses. We were contracted to help you develop 6 of them. We added 20 more bonus ones. So literally, this is built out as an online learning management system. So if you want to go learn something, we'll actually keep track of what you've learned. You can earn badges and coins along the way. Sickle Sense coins. Part of the draft, Rob mentioned, I'm part of the contract earlier in the project, included a school nurse handbook. And it also included a comic book. So we've got a whole kids zone coming up. Of course, we've got trackers, reports, and profiles. So again, you can track any or all of those on a whatever frequency that you'd like. And then we will be supporting this effort for the next actually 4 years, right? And part of the support of this effort is to blast it live. So we will be hosting a monthly live broadcast, and then we will also be hosting free community health worker and a leaders training once a month on that. So, it's in line with your goals, and it really has come with a full game plan here. So with that, that's what I wanted to kind of do, is just give a sensor tease. What I really wanted to do, Moses, now is introduce, one of your board members from the Sickle Cell Foundation of Arizona, who has literally just enthusiastically jumped in with her whole body, mind, spirit, and soul about this. And I wish we could go ahead and replicate her. I'm going to bring her to the stage, Moses, but please, if you have additional, introduction for her, I introduce Dr. Naomi Newman of Banner Health into the conversation.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. It's so wonderful to see Dr. Newman. I cannot talk or say enough about Dr. Newman. If I had planned it, it would not have worked the way it is. And so sometimes it's good for things to happen naturally. Because since I met her, she's been my conduit. I mean, we are blessed with Dr. Shah as the chairman of the board. This morning, I met with Dr. Nance. So she has been incredible. I have to apologize. I apologize to the doctors all the time. And so I have to apologize to Dr. Nance because I encroach upon their time. I send text messages. I send email. Sometimes I don't wait long enough. I make a phone call. Then I feel bad. I hang up.
Well, you're so passionate. I think that's all right. We on the doctor side, we understand. Newman, though, the way I'm thinking about it is, you're the one who's in the trenches. And at the beginning of this call, Moses used some wise term story about going where don't just follow a path, go where there is no path and build one. And so you're in that trenches identifying what's needed, what path is missing, what needs to be built. How is this going to help you or your patients? This is really being built for you as the center of the hub, or as one piece of this hub. How would you react to your experience thus far with things? You mentioned you introduced a patient to it the other day before it was even released. Talk to us. What's it like in the trenches?
So far, the trenches are pretty hungry for anything that is going to help. There's a lot of interest in sickle cell, but I don't think a lot of the patients really recognize that it's there. And so just even knowing that there's an app being developed for them, I've had a lot of patients that are just so excited. I have a lot of patients who are social media influencers or who share their journey online. And so that's been exciting too, because I got to know them in a completely different way. Like I get to see their physical therapy sessions through YouTube, which I didn't even know they were posting, and I didn't even know they were going to those physical therapy sessions. So I'm excited for social media to kind of play its role here. I think it's like I think it's going to connect a lot of people, because the difficulty with sickle cell is connection. I think a lot of patients feel disconnected from their providers. Their providers feel disconnected from the systems that might be working for us or should be working for us. So this app being able to kind of help connect us to resources and to each other is going to fill a huge void.
Yes,
fantastic.
one of the key components of this app, which I'm very excited about, is the ability for the individual to track their symptoms, their conditions. Because I mean, they take the medication and things are happening. They forget.
Yeah.
And so by the time they have their doctor's appointment, they don't remember all that has been taking place in their lives. So they can track this thing, they can keep record, and it's their own record. So when they go to the doctor, they don't have to scratch their head. They don't have to look for a piece of paper where they wrote it. They can bring out their mobile device and say, here it is. They can dump their screen to a printer and however they want to transport the information. It's theirs. So the ability to track the symptoms for me was critical component in this app development.
No, it's huge. And it's like one of the things that almost made my patient cry, just knowing that, because I think one of the difficulties with sickle cell is that pain is so complex. Explaining to somebody that you're in pain when you have really good coping strategies, and you don't look like you're in pain, it's hard. And I can't even imagine what that's like. But with this tracker, I mean, if you're rating your pain a 10 every day, that's different than if you're rating it a 3, a 4, a 5, a 6, a 7, a 8, a 9, a 10, and then coming back down. So being able to see those trends over time to kind of justify or validate patients' experiences, that's something that's made one of my patients really emotional just thinking about.
One of the things I'd love your input on over time is we've put in place the ability to also have the patient analyze patterns, or to have the doctor with the patient analyze patterns. Am I having crises when it's cold, or maybe when I'm dehydrated, or maybe when I'm overhydrated, or maybe when there's another comorbidity happening? So the opportunity to look for those types of trends and track them, let's say by type or by body location, or even by weather. Living here in Pennsylvania, the cold is a big deal. As one who managed asthma, all right, and COPD, a cold day or a hot day, a hazy day, a low humidity day really made a difference in a patient's planning. Similarly, in your climate, you have extremes of temperature with air conditioning, but outdoor heat, hydration, overhydrated, dehydrated. To identify patterns, if we can reduce just even one crisis in a year at a time with a patient, because they have the knowledge to make a proactive decision to wear gloves or to drink some more water or to do whatever, to know their pulse ox is too low, etc. Those are, to me, that's the most exciting thing. So I'd like to get insights on how to make that tracker better. And what are we missing on it from you and your patients? Your input will help us continue to improve it over these years.
I like the weather. I wonder, is the weather automatic in there, or do they input weather?
That's a great question. During our phase review, we saw that our weather widget wasn't working well.
Our weather widget wasn't working well.
100, yeah, exactly. 100% of the time. So we took it out for now. But those are some of the fine tuning that I'd like to go ahead and continue adding and improving upon.
We have the ability for weather forecast, but what they're doing right now is they're basically saying this happened I was hot, I felt I was normal, I was comfortable, or I was really cold.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or they choose not to chart on any of those. But if they're having, let's say, another crisis in their hand or their finger or their toes, and they were cold, they might not have thought about the two things being combined, with vasoconstriction combined with some sickling and some clumping, leading to a crisis in that finger and that toe. That's
I bring this up. I bring this up because, again, as Moses, leads us towards this unification and connection space, all for the single goal of increasing literacy about, and empathy about sickle cell. I just love enthusiastic leaders, and you are one of them, right? And it always takes those first folks to step up so that we can show an example, so that other hospitals can say like, hey, one doctor had a team of residents and she wanted to share an opportunity for them to, learn more for themselves, right? But then also potentially to network, but also potentially to contribute content, right? And so this is just an example of your virtual team, your residents team that came in and is already within 72 hours contributing to the cause here, right? And it's not like send me an email, give me your Dropbox links, everything is kind of set up in here to where we can actually host. There's even a discussion, right? About, okay, content contributors. If you're ready to go, then these are what you're going to do. So I bring some of those up because those are some of the components in both the app, iPad, on phone as well. It's got also the courses inside. You have a full grade book, quite frankly, right? With whether or not your group is taking these. I wonder if it's worth just popping into the 360 Explore Challenge while we're here to kind of give a teaser on this interactive tool that I think the med students, the residents, the doctors have really appreciated being part of the app here. If I were to just kind of go full screen, I mean, there are sickle cell specific 3D interactive models that Rob has done, and that other, with some help of others that are sickle cell specific.
And speaking of others, there's a graphic from one of Dr. Shah's PowerPoints he gave to Moses to share with us.
Yes.
Okay. So the opportunity to contribute and make this your product, make it as good as possible for sickle cell disease of Arizona and sickle 360 SCD Hub. But what I'm interested in here too with this, what's exciting for me, Dr. Newman, is you're a junior faculty member at a kind of a midpoint in your career, but part of your job is to motivate and train. So you act as a role model, as a teacher about the disease, but you stepping up and helping with the content already has motivated your Dr. Osmond to do the same. Now others,
She's amazing.
There's a whole, and similarly, there's the ability to do a similar thing in the world of community health workers. The invitation is out there to say in Arizona State University or others that really care and do a good job with community health workers. We have a community in here already for community health workers. So a working area where they can build their own content, where they can share in their own private community their success stories, their failures in a professional way. They can share resources. The other thing about this too, that I'm not sure we've really emphasized on this call as we're reaching the end of the hour on this, is gamification. When we say it's not a game like a video game, although playing in that 360 anatomy space, I love those. And I get lost doing surgeries in them and everything else. We have some very specially set aside for sickle cell patients. But gamification is you're getting points every time you're learning, every time you're posting to the feed, every time you're joining a discussion. They'll learn it, they'll live it every time you're charting on your tracker. Learn it, live it, and share it. You're getting points for all those things so that we can, if you wish, the app has the capability to have Sickle Sense cash in at a store. People can get a t-shirt or a water bottle to prevent dehydration, let's say, or to be on a leaderboard with their various badges. So it lets you gamify. Maybe the Banner, one of your residents suggested that he's going to be at Banner Tucson in the hematology program. What doctor was that?
Dr. Kamal.
So if Dr. Kamal gets at it, he said, what can I do in Tucson to get them engaged and maybe compete against residents at Banner Phoenix, where you're located. Maybe the hematology fellows versus the internal medicine residents versus the medical students. So you play to get your badges and you level up. And at level 3, I know the people that did the testing to help us with the app, they had the ability, if they wish, to unlock a gift card or get a t-shirt. I didn't get my T-shirt yet, Lucy.
You may not have finished it. We'll have to go. We'll go check on that.
Didn't level up high enough. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. I wanted to just bring that up as you were speaking. And see, Moses, I told you an hour goes by so fast, and we haven't even had a sickle cell, patient individual on as part of it. So we are framing this up to both launch, communicate, celebrate, the activation and the welcome aspect and the live aspect of this app. We will be doing this the first Tuesday of every, let's see, we're going to be doing this the first Tuesday of the month. So that's going to seem like a long ways away. But part of the support for you, at least here in the state of Arizona, right now is offer free training once a month for any community health worker. You might be a parent that's wanting to know how to use it for family management issues, school nurse. So we are going to go ahead and present that opportunity. That is on the calendar here. And if you go to the calendar for the sickle cell at the SCD Hub, you'll notice that see on the first Tuesdays, there is this live broadcast, and then hopefully we'll get some interaction going next time. But then on the third Tuesdays will be more of a Zoom type of such situation, right? Where we will be looking at CHWs, coaching, and a webinar. So again, that is free for at least Arizona-based sickle cell community health workers and partners throughout the state. And we will get that information up and loaded shortly. But it's 5 o'clock, you guys. So we're already an hour in. So let's just go around the horn real fast with last minute reflections and maybe a call to the audience, whether it be a patient, medical community, or general public. Rob, you go first.
This app, we're here at the Force Health Foundation or the network. This is not our app. This is your app. And my goal is to withdraw from this as the path is filled with all sorts of supporters. And at the 360 SCD Hub, with the content, with the training, with the teaching, we're here to help. But this is your app to run with. All the partners we mentioned on this, it's there for you, all the patients and parents as well.
I'll hand it to Dr. Newman.
Yeah, I'm so excited to see what fills that spot, and I'm happy to be one of those people, and I'm excited to kind of see how my residents, I hope, and I'm hoping my patients as well, step up to take part in it. I'm so excited to get you connected to a few of my patients because I think they're going to be
I can't wait.
So incredible. Yeah. And then my call to them is just participate and join us, because this could make a huge difference.
And we didn't really call them out, but I'm going to right now. Banner Health, in that the board member, Sarah, one of our key leader board members, oversees Banner Health Plan, network, which is a Medicare, Medicaid service provider that's associated with Banner. But of course, that in and of itself has just opened the relationships that allow someone like you to step up and say, yeah, I want to play. So hats off to Banner for being like the lead in charge and showing us how hospitals and physicians and residents can get engaged. Thanks, Sarah. And Moses, final word.
Patients too. It's the same motivation.
That's right.
It's the same motivation. Right. If this can be a tool they can use, that'd be great.
Yeah. Moses, final reflections today?
Thank you so much. This is wonderful. Usually you make a decision, you don't know how it's going to turn out. But you go with your guts, and you surround yourself with the right kind of people because this is not a one-man effort. So or one person's effort. So I'm glad that one thing I pat myself on the back, that when when I was struggling trying to decide, because I had a team, three other teams that I reached out to decide who do I want to go with to help us develop this app. And I'm thankful to Kevin and to Sarah. And so I'm glad that we went with Force for Health. So it's just like
Thank you.
just in time. So again, when I look at learn it, live it, share it, it speaks powerful, because more often than not, the sickle cell person is isolated. They complain, they are alone. And so learn it is the tool give them opportunity to lift themselves up. They give them opportunity to live out what they learn, and also have something to share rather than complain. It replaces their mindset. It's been said, be careful what you think, because you can act upon it. Be careful of your actions, because it may determine your life. So learn it, live it, share it. Is powerful and very impactful. Thank you.
Thank you.
I
And
love
of course,
that.
Dr. Newman, I cannot thank you enough.
And on that note, thank you very much. We will see you next month, but hopefully sooner in the 360 SCD Hub. Again, you can search it on the App Store, search 360 SCD Hub. You can go to our website, 360scdhub.org, or you can go ahead and join through any one of the QR codes that you've seen during this broadcast. So till next month, thanks for joining, everybody, and have a wonderful and blessed time. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Appreciate it.